So this was the series that was played last Saturday between Thire and Spirit. Let me just quickly switch it up real quick. There we go. And I do have the drafts for this series, so I'm going to carry on with the cast for the time being. For anyone that does want to stick around, I'll just put the music back on real quick. Maybe quiet that down a little bit. So this was the other part of the extra brackets that was played between Thire and Spirit of the Universe. Let's see what the map picks and bans were for this one. It was just another best of 5 series. Watch and play at the same time, good luck. Gold Mountain and Oasis are the bans here. Continental the first pick from Spirit. And Citadels from Thire straight away. I mean, we do have both Inside Out and Citadels. It'll be interesting to see if we do see both of those maps. Continental the first pick, like I said, from Spirit. See where else he wanted to go. Ocean Ring, so we could see another Ocean Ring. Well, actually, we didn't see an Ocean Ring game in the end from the last series. And it is Inside Out, so Thire picking both of the closed maps here. And more water maps from Spirit of the Universe. Let's see what the Civ drafts were. I wouldn't be too surprised to see a potential Minoan's ban in the mix here. But otherwise, Shang and Latvia always sort of more of a go-to. Shang and Hittite's actually banned by Spirit. I guess, yeah, Inside Out Citadels are a very strong Civ there. This does leave the Latvia and the Minoans both open. We'll see where the priorities are for each of the players here. What those first picks are going to be. We'll see the big reveal. Romans and Carthaginians. Okay, those were not either of the civs I was expecting. Romans obviously have been quite strong in Inside Out. Sumerians straight away from Thire. I feel like Thire is just a Sumerians fan. I feel like I've seen him pick that in quite a few of his series. Yamata picked up. Minoan's still on the table. I'm a little bit surprised Spirit's not picked that Civ up. I mean, Carth and Yamato still solid water Civ maps. Phoenicians as well. This leaves Thire with Minoans, and he does grab that. And Latvia is still on the table as well. Greeks are the pick though. And Egyptians still on the table as well for the closed maps. So a little bit surprising Civ priority for me. Persians being picked up now, and the Babylonians. I mean, I feel like Egyptians are just a straight upgrade to the Babylonians personally, but we'll see how else is. Latvia's still in the draft. A devious ban. Yeah, it's an interesting ban. Latvia does get picked up by Thire, and Egyptians are still left. And there we go, they do get picked, and Palmyreans I think would be my choice here, but Chosen gets picked up. So yeah, slightly unusual priorities. I feel like the biggest civs for me would have been Minoans and the Latvia. Obviously the Latvia are only going to be really especially strong on Highlands, but obviously the Latvia can still be plenty good on Continental as well. But yeah, Romans being quite highly prioritized by Thire, and the Sumerians as well. I'm not a huge Sumerians fan myself. Like I said, I feel like Thire has picked that Civ up fairly early in a few drafts that I've seen from him. So yeah, we're going from replays, so no need to hang around too much. We'll just jump straight on in to game 1 of this series. So where is game 1? It is here. There we go. Obviously game 1 on Highland. And I did get a sneak of the civs there. And we are going to get the infantry civ matchup. I'm not muted the music, I just realised. So I'll just quickly do that. Of the Romans versus the Chosen. And Chosen is another civ where I feel like a bit similar to like Babylonians, just having Egyptians just being a very similar but better civ. I feel like Romans are just like a similar but better version of the Chosen. There's a lot of similar bonuses with obviously the infantry bonuses and the tower bonuses, even the temple bonuses. I think Romans get the faster healing priest, I think is the Roman bonus, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, we'll see how this plays out. Romans with their cheaper buildings bonus does give them a fairly nice early game. Chosen do get the cheaper storage pit tax. It gives them that little bit of a spike in the early tool age, as well as their 5 HP extra axes that can make a little bit difference if we see axes. Well, I say that we don't tend to see axes facing off against axes that much, because usually your axes are in your opponent's base and their axes are in your base. This is usually what happens a lot of the time. So both players having a little sniff around. They've actually spawned quite close to each other. Thire is going to be the first to the centre of the map, grabs himself an artifact. He's going to get both the central elephants as well. Spirit a little bit offline there. Yeah, a little bit away from the centre. He does actually spot one of the other central elephants. See if he can do much here. Looks like he didn't quite notice in time. Ooh, Thire needs to be careful he doesn't drop aggro there. He does a good job of that. But yeah, Spirit should be able to get this one elephant here. It'll be interesting to see if he does just take that for the time being. Obviously we can see the other elephant is on this side over here. But yeah, I think he's just going to settle for the one, and you've seen one of his own elephant there, so be able to grab that one on the way back. Other elephant on the right hand side here. It's going to take a little bit more exploration to find that one. So it's just going to be the one villager, the one elephant advantage is what I meant to say there for Thire, which that is quite big. It's an extra 300 food before you have to start thinking about placing down farms. So probably one of, yeah, that's true. He did nearly spot that one out. It's a few tiles, but it's, yeah, reasonably close there. And 2 villagers coming forward. Okay, just storage pit going down. And could double up as a gold pit later in the game if we reach that point. And neither of the players, actually no, Gazelle are being cold. It looks like Spirit's probably going to build his storage pit around here. It's reasonably close to the stone. Actually, he's going to go here. Where are we going? There we go. Finally gets that down. I think that villager's actually going to go back to the TC. Yeah, Gazelle just chilling. I don't know if actually, yeah, Thire didn't actually spot his Gazelle there. He's probably going to find them now. He does have his elephants to find. One tile off, classic on that side. Is he just going to push the Gazelle for the time being though? Or is he going to keep trying to find the elephants? Looks like he's angling for the push. There we go. 21 vills to 19. We're still making vills as Thire hit. And I guess maybe just trying to keep the idle TC time down, just keep that TC working is maybe the idea here. Possibly doesn't expect his opponent to be too aggressive. The Chosen do tend to like try get in your face with those axes. Yeah, and it's 20 vills up, 51 seconds idle TC. Okay, it's only going to be 20 seconds behind for Thire going up more or less, because he's got the 2 extra vills which have made up a bit of that difference there. And yeah, those Gazelle were quite nicely pushed. Unfortunately, a couple of those did run away. So we do have the forward villager, but not quite enough wood for the barracks just yet. But yeah, Spirit, oh yeah, it looks like he did spot the house there, so he knows he's in more or less the right area. There's a gap between the houses there. It'll be interesting to see if that becomes relevant. And still somehow managed one tile miss on multiple sides there. 3 villagers going forward for Thire though. It's quite interesting. Like he went up with 23 vills. Normally 23 vills usually signifies more of that you're trying to go for fast bronze play, but 3 villagers going forward. Maybe going to be some towers going down forward. He's not on stone just yet. The stone yet up on this side. I don't know, we're waiting for a storage pit to be placed down here. Watchtower is being researched though. Second barracks coming down. Both players in the tool age now, obviously. Just the one clubber on the field so far. Are we going to see... Ooh, these villagers getting caught out. 4 villagers forward by Spirit. So... a little bit... maybe both players had the same idea there. House walls coming in. Obviously, Thire hasn't researched wall yet. So he's using the houses to close in the villagers. Barracks is going down. That's actually the first barracks for Thire. So it's very important this barracks does go down. Still only the single axer. Spirit's been housed, unfortunately, for some time. Quite an unfortunate mistake there. That's going to really... 3 barracks and getting himself housed there. Going to put the rush massively behind schedule. Walls hopefully go up and chat. There's one villager cut out outside. Needlework is in. Villagers should be able to run for the time being. Villagers kind of just chilling there. One villager just go down, actually, interestingly. This one axer shouldn't be able to get too much done though with the needlework in. Fire should just focus that down. There we go. Does pull the villager nicely into the TC there. And yeah, that being housed by Spirit there has really delayed the axer push. Like I said, Fire didn't have the barracks up, which put him in a very vulnerable situation. He does have all the villagers on stone, so it looks like it is going to be an attempt at the tower push play. A couple more axes are in. Villager probably going to... oh, okay, the last second into the TC. I think 11 villagers could easily take this fight here, but maybe Fire just trying to err on the side of caution here. Maybe we'll... yeah, might lose a slow HP villager in the process, but does take down a couple of axes. Tower used for defense here, archery range going back up on the south side. Villagers jump back into the CC. Meanwhile, on the front, villagers kind of just chilling. Most of the action's happening on Fire's own base. They're probably still feeling a little bit pressured. In the meantime, Fire's done a much better job at keeping those villager the town centre creating villagers. Market going up now. Maybe just to get the range upgrade in. Going to make those towers even more pesky. Quite a few idle villagers for Thire though, despite the fact he is ahead on the villager count. And slow creep. I feel like Thire could probably be a little bit more aggressive with these placements. It's gonna looks like he's just gonna try and slow creep these towers forward, and like keep them under each other's bases so they're defending each other. I guess is the idea there. Still those handful of axes, but the towers should keep the position fairly well defended. Thire does need to make sure he runs the villagers. Obviously the villagers are very slightly faster than the axes in the current patch, so you can outrun those axes. But yes, this axe is still being annoying. Spirit has managed to get that second villager kill in. Not too much damage done for the investment. Third villager does go down though. Potentially another villager here. There we go. That's a fourth one. So the wall being undermined by the overchop there, unfortunately, and actually maybe a couple more villagers going down. So it's going to be 5, 6 vills, and that's going to even up. In fact, Spirit is now ahead on numbers. So yeah, maybe again just Thire just split attention there. He's actually grabbed the elephant, funnily enough, so we're not committing to the towers anymore. So these towers not doing too much. Both players with towers in play, like I said, both of these civs with the tower bonuses, the extra range for the Chosen, and just the cheaper towers for the Romans. And a lot of wood in the bank for Thire. He's going to need to try and get himself maybe a handful more farms placed down. Axe is going to get cut off by the by the bows, I should say. And maybe does he see the berries? Actually, doesn't quite see the berries. Might go back onto stone. It may be worth just trying to wall up the base. And yet Thire sneaks ahead again on the eco camp. Axe has come back in again for some more damage. No armor in for the bowman, but Thire doing a good job of kiting back. They're just jumping the TC again. So it's been a very messy game in this early tool age, and yet tower range advantage very strong. Well, working out quite nicely here. Watchtower, yeah, is going to be able to fend that off. So fighting the towers with the towers. Neither player, I was going to say committing to the slinger, but actually Thire is actually getting the slinger count up now. I think he still only has that single barracks. Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of wood in bank. It would definitely be worth getting some more military buildings down at this point for future purposes. But yeah, the slingers can do quite a good job of fighting off the watchtowers. I don't know if this is enough slingers though. It doesn't have... Well, stone mining doesn't actually make a difference, the amount of damage the slingers do, but it does give a little bit of extra range. Because the base damage just gets countered by the pierce armor of the tower. So it's just the bonus damage that's doing the damage here. Actually, that's doing a solid amount of work with the assistance of the tower here. And Bronze Age is clicked for Spirit now. So Thire's had his eco a little bit unbalanced for quite a while now. He is sort of slowly sorting that out. Like I said, should probably use that wood to get a couple more barracks maybe down. Got a tower being built. What happened to the slingers? Okay, slingers were pulled back. Food for Bronze Age comes in. Spirit is in the Bronze Age now, though he hasn't actually put any villagers on gold. So we're in the Bronze Age, but we're not really doing anything with it now. There we go, it does start actually getting himself on gold here. Sentry Tower, obviously, being picked up. Wheel as well. I don't know if I saw gold mining coming in there. Nope, no gold mining coming in. So Thire is definitely going to have the time to get himself up to the Bronze Age. Because, like I said, Spirit just getting onto gold a little bit slowly there. You kind of need to get your villagers on the gold on the way up, so you actually have some gold to spend as soon as you get up there. Thire clearing up the forward, which means new barracks are going to have to be built at home. There's only a single barracks at home for Spirit at the moment. Just the archery, single archery range and single barracks for Thire still 1700 wood in the bank. Again, I would like to see him spend that granary going up as well, just to take those berries. I mean, we've got plenty of food for farms at this point, but fair enough. Save a little bit of wood for a little longer. And yeah, so Brutal's in, but we're not making any units. We have the resources. We've still only got the one barracks. Spirit maybe needs to get a little bit more wood. We've got a situation of no wood against too much wood here. But yeah, both players going into the broadsword. And I'm not actually sure which of the two units is more powerful in the Bronze Age out of the Romans and the Chosen. I think the Roman attack speed bonus is slightly stronger than the extra HP at this point. In fact, I think, yeah, in the Iron Age, because the Chosen miss a lot of the Iron Age storage pit techs, so they purely rely on the HP upgrade. So I think the Romans in melee combat are a lot stronger. Maybe not a lot stronger, but a little stronger. I'm not actually exactly sure, but we're actually, yeah, a couple of cavalry units out. Again, Spirit is housed, unfortunately. This cavalry actually not really, well, they're very low HP, 9 HP on that cavalry now. Stone Thrower already out for Thire. And how many barracks? We're still only on a single barracks. Could add about 4 or 5 barracks with that amount of wood, which would definitely increase the production rates. Cavalry are actually going to manage to get in on the eco, but cavalry of his own for Thire. Just be careful. Okay, I don't think Spirit was paying too much attention there. Stone Thrower actually gets the killing blow. And finally, we have spent that wood. I'm not exactly sure what on. I guess extra TC's coming down. And still just the one barracks. Yeah, so I'd definitely like to see more military buildings coming out from both players, really. Doesn't have to be, like, just 2 or 3 is fine. Actually, a couple of barracks, actually, I've just seen the second one there. And logistics coming in. It's kind of interesting, because I think the better tech to research is urbanization before logistics, because obviously urbanization is kind of like doubling your whole pop space, whereas logistics only applies to the swordsman. So yeah, and he has the stone to research that as well. We see a little bit again of an engage, but not really much. It's just Spirit kind of sending his cavalry to their doom, unfortunately. We do have a little bit more of an army assembled this time, though. Again, this always frustrates me. Like, why are we slowing down this cavalry? It could have been got engaged so much quicker. But anyway, we do get the engage. Spirit should win this engage. Thire's not really paying attention. Although that said, there's actually there's a few more broadswords in there than I gave credit for, but they don't have any of the armor upgrades in. Whereas Spirit does have the +4. It doesn't have the +2 attack, +4 attack he is coming in now. Cavalry are going to come in and sweep up though. And 2 stone throwers are going to be pretty nice against these towers. I think the chosen towers do actually outrange the stone throwers, which is always a really annoying thing about chosen towers. They can actually defend against siege annoyingly well. Both players on 52 vills. Again, for some reason we're tying up cavalry, slowing them down for unnecessary reasons. Handful of cavalry posing. 2 TCs for both players at this point. Spirit a little bit short on food. In fact, both players. Again, Thire just way too much wood. Just needs to get more villagers. Just grab a bunch of villagers. Just grab these. Farm. Bang, 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 bang. That's all that needs to happen. Another TC going up on the gold. And another TC going up on the wood over here. Neither player willing to risk going for a push. Score is pretty close. Bronze shield coming in for Spirit. And no armor upgrades on the cavalry, I've just noticed. +4 attack is in for Broadsword. Spirit diving forward to try and take out the stone throwers. Might be able to get... Ooh, doesn't quite get the last hit in on that second one there. Now we do see a bit of an engage. I think there are, and maybe, I don't know, these are chosen broadswords. He's diving through, ignoring the cavalry for the time being, trying to get through the stone throwers. Does get him. Now the engage. I think the cavalry and the broadswords should clear up for Thire now, though. So Spirit committing quite heavily there just to try and get rid of the stone throwers. Cavalry are going to be able to just kind of, well, they're attacking the tower now, but he could just run through here. Spirit only on 4 units now. Again, it's only got those 2 barracks and still short on food. I think these cavalry are just going to be able to push through. More towers going to be added. They only do a limited number of damage to the cavalry units here. Gold mining only just coming in for Thire now, but I think this may be the game-breaking play. Spirit maybe just a little bit over-committing to trying to kill those stone towers. Obviously he doesn't want those towers to go down, but he lost the whole of his military to do it. And yeah, his resources just, again, just not enough fills on the food. Farmers are all just going to get interrupted by the cavalry here. And he does have broadswordsmen in the queue. And to be fair, Thire doesn't have that many units left himself. The cavalry just chopping up villagers left, right and centre. yeah, big eco lead for him now. Again, 2k wood. We just need to get some more farms down. That's literally all we need to do. Just grab some woodworkers, plonk a granary, 8 farms. That's all that needs. But anyway, regardless, Thire is still in a very solid position right now. Extra stone throwers being added in is nice. Stone thrower actually trading 1-for-1 there. And yeah, Thire he's kind of stopped. He was making the stone throwers, but he's only just started adding in other units now. And has allowed Spirit to get some units back on the field, but I feel like I said, like the eco disparity is very quickly going to show itself. It's interesting that like neither player really tried to properly wall themselves up. You can see this kind of like I don't even know if this is even really an attempt as a wall. I don't know if I can really call it that. There's many gaps in that. Yeah, towers slowly been taken down. Handful of villages in there actually. And some of the broadswords unfortunately trickling forward, kind of just being baited by those bows there. Sat on an aggressive stance. And now, yeah, okay, we're in full swing now. Still too many villagers on the wood there. But again, probably not going to be an issue in this specific game. Another wave of cavalry jumps through. Got enough broadswords to defend this time. It looks like, I said, like Thire is just getting the numbers together to form a more solid push. Slowly pushing forward with the stone throwers now. Yeah, more. So swordsmen. I mean, that's the one good thing about swordsmen is they're very cheap. So Spirit just about managing to squeeze out as many military units as he can. Thire, I don't know if he's like half thinking of maybe getting himself up to the Iron Age. Again, we just go. I'm going to be interested to see how high this wood number gets. We'll see. Yeah, just the last few techs being added in. Interesting that we're still making bowmen. Those bowmen still do +2 damage against infantry, so technically they're just as powerful as a composite bowman in terms of damage against these broadswords. But yeah, cavalry going to be nice. And I don't know if I saw nobility coming actually. Yeah, nobility isn't in, so that could be a pretty useful upgrade for Thire to get for his cavalry that he's got. But yeah, 45 broadswords. But Stone Thrower is probably going to be able to get a few good hits in here. Oh, unfortunately, Thire kind of shot his own cavalry there. Cavalry, yeah, he's going to need to see all the units he can to try and cover this off. Spirit actually going to get a pretty decent push, but I think the Stone Throwers have maybe done just about enough damage before getting taken down. I'm not a huge fan of the priest. I don't know if the... Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the priest here. But he does get a conversion. Because his opponent's going for a pretty cheap unit, so... I guess it's not terrible. Like I said, yeah, Thire does go for the Iron Age now. And yeah, he's been in commanding position in terms of eco. Spirit still, like I said, just committing to the military count. Potentially could win himself a battle here. Depends how much damage this Stone Thrower can get down again. Healing for Priest, yeah, fair enough. Sometimes I feel like it's just better to make more units though than to heal units, but yeah, fair enough. Like I said, I did mention earlier that Romans do get that bonus there. And yeah, diving under the tower I think is a little bit too much of a stretch by Spirit. Nearly up to 7k wood now. And GG's just called, so Iron Age doesn't come in the end. And yeah, like I said, this game kind of just came down to that moment where the where did it happen? Maybe it already happened at this point. It was just that moment with the stone throwers. No, it must. Where was it? Was it further on? Am I misremembering? Yeah, okay, here we go. And yeah, I like the idea of diving in with the cavalry. It just didn't quite... I think there was 2 got left on really low HP. And that's maybe why Spirit committed. Because yeah, I just didn't get quite the last hit on that one. This one was, yeah, pretty low, and decided to fully commit. But he wasn't making any more units behind this, so yeah, he just lost his whole... Spirit just lost his whole army here. And that just allowed Thire to just run in to his opponent's economy and cause all kinds of havoc. Like I said, the sort of follow-up was a little bit slower after that, but Thire was just so far ahead on eco at this point that, like I said, it kind of didn't really matter what he did at that point. It was always going to be tough for Spirit. Gave himself a chance, just kept massing those swordsmen, which again, Thire didn't have that many units out in the field, but these stone throwers again just managing to get enough damage done that they were able to hold the position just about. Yeah, maybe Spirit pushing up the tower, maybe a mistake there as well. So, first game goes 1-0 to Thire. We'll get to get ourselves straight into game 2. So game 2, we went to Continental. And yeah, weirdly, Spirit was the one to pick the water maps, but didn't pick Minoans himself, which seems unusual, I'll say. Is the word I'll choose to use. So that gave Thire the opportunity to use the Minoans. Carthaginians the pick from Spirit here. I've said it before and I'll say it again now. My capture age has a little bit of a moment there, but I think we're okay. You can take advantage of the Minoans on this map, just because obviously there's just land between the 2 players. So if you do have a fairly aggressive civ, it is possible to just punish the Minoans before they can get themselves properly set up. Thire going for that dock straight away, I presume just for the fishermen. And yeah, Carthaginians, one of the strong early game civs with those just extra starting resources. So potentially Spirit can maybe get some early aggression in again. And that was another thing I didn't actually mention at the end of the last game, was Spirit's early axe push. He had those 3 barracks down and had himself housed. So he had all those axes in queue. Now, he did manage to get some kills with those axes in early on, but potentially could have done a lot more damage if he just remembered to put the houses down. Sometimes it happens. So just, you get lost in the moment, get yourself pop-capped. But yeah, definitely pushed back that aggressive play there. But yeah, fishing boat has been added. Again, it's always a little bit testing how early you should commit to the water, because the more wood you spend on the boats, the more you delay getting your pit up and your potentially granary up. Can delay you, obviously. In theory, it gets you like just more eco, but in the short term you do have to pay for that. Looks like Spirit may be going to push the zebra in actually here. Or maybe not. Okay. Zebra not playing the game quite yet. Storage pit going up on the wood line there for the Thire. And that's the one that, yeah, because Spirit's made a 3rd fishing boat now. The problem with doing that is you run out of straggler trees, and then you have to end up long hauling your wood before you can get your before you can afford your storage pit. That's what I'm trying to say, sorry. Because like Thire's got himself set up on the wood now, so it's a lot, and plus he's the Minoan, so it's a lot easier for him to start adding in those fishing boats. So I think this is a little bit too greedy of the start from Spirit. It's last. I mean, maybe he has just about enough wood. There's only 80 left. I think no, it looks like he is going to be all right. Actually, he's going to be able to afford that pit, so he should actually be okay. Hopefully, he goes to the pit and doesn't go for the granary. I'd be a little bit disappointed if he does do that. Yep, pit goes up on the wood line over here. Probably needs to just reallocate the villagers to make sure they're not just all over the place. Meanwhile, both players around that 40 seconds idle TC time. Spirit is a little bit closer to be able to click up. Obviously, Carthaginian with those just extra starting resources does give you quite a nice boost in the early game. And that's maybe how Spirit's got away with being able to afford that pit when he did. So yeah, Spirit actually got himself up quite a nice click. 57, obviously not the best click up, but considering he's committed so heavily to the water, Thire going to take a little bit longer, still producing villagers. But it looks like, okay, 3 villagers coming forward now. I was going to say Spirit not going to go for an aggressive play, but as I say that, I think 3 villagers forward is maybe a villager too many. Obviously, I've seen many times by Say My Name, he sends 2 forward. But you lose builder efficiency the more villagers you add. So it's not that advantageous to send this many villagers forward. It just kind of means you're losing a gatherer for a lot of the time. He's going in a very curious direction, maybe just trying to avoid getting his villagers spotted. Obviously, the more natural you just think, assume your opponent's in this sort of area of the map, which we can obviously see that he is. But yeah, Spirit is going to hit the Tool Age first, but Barrack's only just going down now, so probably isn't going to get too much of an advantage out of that. And does get the scout ship out nice and early though, so he can get a couple of those out. He could potentially punish his opponent on the water there. Yeah, Barrack's just at home for Thire. It's usually the Minoans players usually happy to play defensive and just try and play for the water in the long run. Spirit is going to find his opponent now, I think. There we go, does spot the house. His opponent gets to the Tool Age. And yes, I thought I saw a second scout ship there. I don't know if that got cancelled. And yeah, there is a gap there that the house to block up, and small wall as well to potentially properly wall behind that. Needs to be a little bit careful, doesn't chop through. Actually, that's got quite a lot of wood on that tree there, so it's probably not going to be an issue just yet. But yeah, the forward play double barracks for Spirit and an archery range now. But again, a little bit delayed. That first barracks took a little bit of a while to come up. And it's actually Thire that's actually going to get the numbers advantage in terms of scout ships pretty early on. Looks like, yeah, we're doing that flank around to try and find his opponent. The upside of this is you get a bit more exploration. The downside is if you find your opponent, you don't necessarily end up winning the trade, although here he's going to win the trade because he's got the first hit in. Well, it looks like Spirit hasn't actually noticed. Some watchtower coming in for him. Market being placed down. Probably should get that wood working in nice and early. But yeah, 6 fishing boats to just the 4, and Thire again has been doing a little bit better job of just keeping that villager production going, and he's nearly got himself the food he needs to age up. He doesn't have the second building. We'll need to build either an archery range or a stable. I imagine it'll be the archery range for the Minoans. And now we do see a little bit of a push, and hopefully Thire gets that archery range down pretty pronto. He's going to need to do something to respond to this. He's only got a couple of units on the land to respond. Tower being placed on the hill to mark the forward position. Archery range only just going down now. It'll be interesting to see if Thire does click bronze, or if he thinks that he's under a bit too much pressure to commit to it at this point. Gold mining did get clicked for a second there, but then got cancelled, and Bronze Age is going to come in. It's a little bit risky. And our quick gate doesn't quite go up. Axes are in. Needlework is on the villagers, but a lot of them going to be forced idle here. And going for the Bronze Age may be a little bit of a mistake here. Bowmen are now being added to the queue. 11 axes. And I think Bronze Age... is TC going to go down before the Bronze Age comes in? It's going to be very close. Where's the follow-up from Spirit? He stopped making units, making more units on the boats on the water. I feel like he should really be committing to this forward play, though. It's going to be very... I'm just like holding my breath, kind of. I think the Bronze Age... Oh, okay, he just pulls off. So Bronze Age is going to come in. Thire massively being let off the hook there. Quite lucky that, again, Spirit didn't just commit to the push. Bronze Age is going to come in now, and this is going to put Spirit in a very bad position. There's now it's the tech advantage, and yeah, no real damage done. That's the wood lines. I mean, boatmen here are actually going to be able to pick off a few vills. War gets deleted to run the villagers out. So it's not all said and done yet. But the impetus of the push from Spirit definitely lost some momentum. Ooh, another tower, though. It's not completely done. Thire doesn't have any gold to make any units in the Bronze Age just yet. Where is his gold, actually? His gold was at the front. So kind of denied by the tower. So actually, maybe Spirit's still going to be able to get something done. Towers probably, that should probably be deleted by Spirit. Unfortunately, he doesn't delete it in time. So that tower was good, quick thinking by Thire to try and burn that down before it went up, because I think that would have been very awkward otherwise. Improved Bowman is in, but again we just have no access to gold. We might be able to sell some wood here. It's probably going to have to be the play, because once again Thire sat on a lot of wood. And yeah, I'm a little bit... I don't really... because Spirit's just floating resources. He could just be adding in more units here. He could be adding in more bows. He's still going for the tower play. So may get denied just by the bows here. But yeah, it feels a little bit half-baked from Spirit. He's trying to get the play done, but he's not really giving himself the chance for it to stick. I think these villagers are all just going to get killed. I think maybe the tower does go up. Very close. The tower is going to go up. So again, maybe Thire going to have to be forced to reposition. I mean, he could... Ooh, scout ships actually are in. So actually, Spirit still managing to... I mean, it's committing full to the water now. So kind of giving up... I don't know. It's really strange game to call, but tower gets boned down again by Thire. That's the thing, that's why I'm saying it's a little bit half-baked on the land there. He does manage to get a lot of damage done to the fishing eco, though. So actually, Spirit way ahead on eco, apart from the fact he's got half of his eco idle. But still in the tool age, still trying to get some damage done. Thire, like I said, just not on the gold, so hasn't really been able to take advantage of the fact that he is in the Bronze Age just yet. And again, I was questioning whether it was worth it to click the Bronze Age when he did, when his opponent was right in his face. Again, I feel like Spirit, again, he's trying to go for another watchtower, but like, you need something to protect these villagers, otherwise this is just never going to work. And so the scout ships, yeah, 16 kills, 13 on the eco. So Spirit switching into the water has done some significant amount of damage. But Thire still just about in there, has plenty of wood to just keep on making ships. And War Galley is coming in now. Should be able to get control back on the water and maybe start making some fishing boats again. In fact, yeah, village is being sent forward again to bone down the tower. And yeah, Spirit still a long ways off from the Bronze Age himself. So despite getting 35 eco kills in, it still kind of I didn't even notice this. It still kind of feels like Spirit, even though he's so far ahead on eco, it still feels Thire potentially in the driving seat to Spirit. I feel like that could have been the killing blow on the land there, and like I said, Spirit just stopped making units on the land. And yeah, Thire just needs to start making more fishing boats now to just get that eco count back up, and then he should. I mean, he's adding the extra TC. I feel like the better play when you've got this many docks is to add in boats at this point. I guess maybe there isn't that much fish nearby. Maybe he'd already fished up most of the fish. Yeah, I guess this wouldn't be the most efficient. He'd have to redock as well. Yeah, well, I think the initial tower drop was fine. It just didn't follow the towers up with any actual units to defend the towers. And he just let Thire use his bowman to kill off all those villagers. Now, Spirit does click up to the Bronze Age now. And he has plenty of wood in the bank, which he should be using to make more ships. It's one of the things these players have not been too good about, is they have a lot of unspent resources. Obviously, you want to try and keep the resource count as close to 0 as possible. True, efficient. Yeah, I feel like it would be worth adding an extra couple of docks and just try to get some fishing count, because like docks are kind of like extra TCs in a way. And obviously Thire's taken quite a lot of damage to his eco, but obviously you can see now the numbers very quickly catching up again now, as obviously Spirit's TC time committed to aging up. But yeah, big mistake by Spirit here. He's got so much wood in the bank that he could have been making more ships with. Unfortunately, it just feels like he's completely seeded. Okay, more docks going up on the south side, but this didn't really need to happen. Bronze Age in now for Spirit, and he does have some resources to work with, a little bit of gold. Obviously, Carthaginians don't have the chariots, neither of these civs do, and these cavalry could punish the extra TC if they can get in, but Spirit might be a little bit concerned by other stuff before going for a push on his opponent's base. Handful of improved bows coming out for Thire. Another few being added in there. Yeah, he's got himself set up on the gold now quite nicely. Don't need too much gold for those composite bowmen. They're a fairly cheap unit, which is a little bit slow to get into. It's just once you get the tech set up and you've got the archer ranges, it's quite easy to spam at that point. It's just getting to that point in the first place. But Thire is nearing that point. Again, there's floating quite a lot of wood. Maybe just needs to spend that on an extra few ships or farms or whatever, really. But yeah, the additional docks are going to go down. No war galley upgrade coming in just yet. Thire needs to sort of try and comb the... Okay, war galley coming in now. Thire needs to just sort of comb the shorelines to try and find extra docks. Ooh, unfortunately it's gone back in the other direction. Where are those cavalries? The cavalry are coming forward now. What upgrades do we have? Just the +2 attack. I don't know if we have any upgrades. We do have the +2 armor on the improved bowman. It's still not composite bowman yet, it's just coming in now. Hoplites coming out as well. I'm never a huge fan of playing hoplites into the Carthaginians, because it's very easy for the Carthaginians to go, yeah, alright, I'll make my own hoplites then, and then you're just in a bad position at that point. But it's not a terrible idea to have a little bit of mix of units. I think I'd prefer just a front line of maybe just regular swordsmen, if you just wanted them each shield, just because they're a little bit cheaper. They still have plenty of HP. But yeah, composite bowman in now. Obviously, star unit of the Minoans. Only one cavalry unit, and it looks like Spirit, yeah, is trying to get himself set up back on the water. So we may be able to punish again on the water, but Thire never really committed much to get back on to the fishing economy. He's mostly on the land now. But extra TCs being spammed. But obviously this means Thire is, Spirit is completely vulnerable other than his 2 cavalry on the land. So we're going to see a push coming forward now. And yeah, I think Thire is going to lose the docks. He's making more ships now, but so you kind of have to preemptively make ships, really. But yeah, the composite bowman, I think, is going to be where the main action is. Higher sponsored. Plus 4 armor coming in as well now, so the cavalry going to be even less effective. He just needs to push in. Let's not get distracted by a stable. Although that said, Spirit's not really reacting, maybe paying attention to the water here, but like I said, I feel like the water's kind of already been lost. It would take Thire quite a while to catch back up on the water now. But compies are pushing through. Economists have actually evened up again, as Thire kind of hasn't been making villages for a while. But compies are pushing through, like I said. And should be able to get a decent amount of damage down. Another couple of wheels go down there. There's another one. And no needlework on these villages. Not that it really make a difference here, to be honest. But yeah, Thire needs to just keep pressing through. It looks like, okay, he's trying to protect the shoreline with the composite bowman. You need to be very careful doing this, because yeah, the war galleys just do way more damage than bowmen do. So probably a wise thing to do would just be to abandon the shoreline, maybe just delete the farms near the shoreline and rebuild them elsewhere. Hoplites are coming in now. These composite bowmen not really being fully utilised their full intent. I feel like I said, like, Thire's probably not paying attention to this particular area. Okay, but now we start moving in. GG's just called on the spot. And yeah, Thire just didn't really have any way of protecting himself on the land there. So 2-0. So yeah, it was another situation where Spirit kind of went for the forward, but it kind of didn't. It came out a little bit slow, and then I liked the tower play, but then there just wasn't. I think it might have already happened at this point. Let me try and find it. So this was a really good push, and yeah, I think a stronger player would have definitely punished the Bronze Age click from Thire here. So I think if I was Thire, probably an extra archery range massing with some bowmen probably would have been a maybe wiser play. But yeah, Spirit just stopped making units on the land and started making scout ships. So Thire was just about able to hold the position. Like if Spirit made just like a handful more bowmen here, he could have ranged all the wood lines and it probably would have just been GG. Yeah, and as KT says, he tried to go with the second tower, but just didn't have the units to cover the position. The bow is out of position here. So I like the idea from Spirit, but he just didn't support the play. And like again, he said, I went for the scout ships, and the scout ships did get a good amount of damage done on the water, but I feel like he could have just absolutely murdered Thire on the land there. And yeah, it took Thire a while to kind of really get himself set up in the Bronze Age, because obviously he didn't have access to that stone straight away. And yeah, Spirit had a good chance to close out this game, but it wasn't to be. So, game 3. Ooh, I've actually pressed the wrong button there. There we go. This is where we'll go to next. So game 3, we're going to go to Ocean Ring. So we're just going through Spirit's maps. And again, I'm amazed Spirit picked these 2 maps and didn't pick the Minoans, and that the Minoans went so far through the draft is what I'm trying to say, but it is what it is. So what are going to be the picks here? So Lakviat from Thire and Persians from Spirit. So as I've said before, Persians can be fairly decent at this map. Spirit has Yamato as a pick though. Thire had not really the best civs to pick from for this map. He did have the Greeks. That have the faster moving ships, but the Latvia obviously just strong in the early game. So maybe we're just going for early game power and trying to push possibly. But yeah, the Persians are pretty good on this map just because you basically get instantaneous access to all of the hunt. And yeah, you normally go for the storage pit first as your first building. Which means, yeah, you can just get that nice quick food coming in straight away, and you can usually get a pretty nice tool age time. And then also in the tool age, the Persians get the faster attacking scout ships, so they're pretty punchy in the early game on this map. But it is the dock from Spirit, which... and he's going to also use a few villagers. I feel like storage pit should have just been the play here, but it is what it is. Because, like I said, for food you can just rely on the hunt. You don't need to go for the fish straight away as the Persians. You can transition into that later on. Thire just having a little look around his island. Maybe going to start pushing the Gazelle. Oh no, just storage pit going up. And let's have a look. Doesn't seem like Thire has much wood on his island. I guess I feel like I've seen spawns with much thicker wood lines. Crossing quite wide for both players. Probably a little bit easier to block up for Spirit. He just has to close up the gaps here and here. I could maybe put like a dock here and here. And very nice dock spot would have been on that side. He's not actually explored that part of the map just yet. As the storage pit goes up for Thire. Just another house. No dock yet for Thire, so like I said, it'd be interesting to see if he just goes... I don't think... Well, yeah. I guess grab some quick wood. There we go, switches back onto that. But yeah, so interesting to see if Thire does try to go for a play on the land. Although that said, 10 villagers on wood does not indicate a fast tool age for me. And again, Spirit kind of adding in quite a few fishing boats. So it's not going to be a quick tool age time for him either, really. So again, we may see slightly slower tool age times from both players here. We'll see how that plays out. Quite a bit of idle TC time from Spirit as well there. That's a little bit clumsy. He should have been having plenty of food for villager production this whole time. So that's, yeah, not the greatest of efficiency there. And looks like Thire can't make his mind up whether or not he's making a villager. Oh, he's housed. Okay, that's what's happened here. So, unfortunately, quite a bit of idle TC time for both players here. 54 seconds apiece. Spirit with the advantage of he's not built a second building, so he's delayed the click up time. So just a little bit clumsy plays in the early game here. Dock has gone up now, and could probably start making some fishing ships at this point. Alright, maybe we are going forward. I feel like if we were going forward we shouldn't have made this dock, but we are seeing the play forward. And tool age is coming in. Well, tool age is going to be in first for Spirit. Like I said, not the cleanest of Stone Ages from either player. Barracks going down in the middle of the map. Barracks going down forward-ish for Spirit. I'm not really sure. Maybe Spirit's actually Is he going to go fast bronze, or is he actually going to make some scouts, maybe? I'm not sure. Scouts is a very unusual play on this map, because it's usually just quite easy to wall up your own base. But we'll see. Villager is still coming forward. No clubbers were made. He does have the food. He doesn't quite have the wood for 2 buildings. Actually, no, he does, because he's already... Yeah, some stable is going down. So I don't know if this is just stable as one of his 2 buildings, or what the play is here. Where's the other building? He's not making the other building. Normally we'd see a market come down at this point, but I'm not seeing a market. Anyway, archery range coming down now, and I think I saw watchtower being researched by Thire as well. So market coming down. Yeah, I'm not really sure what Spirit's doing. Market coming down now, very delayed. Can they click Bronze Age? I'm very confused. Okay, I mean, we clicked it eventually. There was a lot of wasted time there by Spirit. I don't like to be too harsh with the casts, but those were fairly simple things. 2 buildings down, click Bronze Age. Are we going to get ourselves onto gold? Small wall being researched now. Not much happening from the forward from Thire. For some reason we've got the artifact involved again. I think I might ask Carver to like disable artifacts from map spawns, just because this triggers me so hard. So it messed up the build. I'm not telling him off. I'm just saying that like these are like there's a very simple game. It's very simple like game plan strategy. Like he obviously set himself up for a fast Bronze Age, and he just didn't do the things you need to do for a fast Bronze Age. So yeah, these axes gonna get some damage in now. Most of the eco did get moved into the center already, so not a huge amount of damage. Yeah, watchtower just gonna be more annoying than anything. Yeah, we only have 4 fishing boats. Camels being made. So we have now got ourselves onto gold, but again, just a little bit, just slow transitions from Spirit here. Like it feels like he has a plan, but then he's just not quite going step by step. He's creating spaces. Yeah, a couple of villagers do get caught out by Thire, and yeah, Thire could probably add in. I mean, I don't know. He's making scout ships. War Galleot upgrade coming in, but only 1 scout ship for Spirit. He's getting artisan ship as well. Single camel with no upgrades. And yeah, he's just trying to wall himself in, but yeah, Bowman just easily going to deny this. If Thire notices, looks like he's right-clicking through. So the villagers are actually going to get the wall up. Camel, no attack upgrades. I don't know if we have any upgrades for the bows though, that said. No. They do have the +1 from just being lack Viats. And we do actually punish the gold. So 1 villager does go down, but a wall does get built in this time. And the main base appears to have been abandoned. And Thire, again with plenty of wood in the bank. Could just add in a couple of docks, a few ships. But yeah, camels do kill her up now. And is Spirit gonna manage to get a push going forward? A lot of idle villagers. Hopefully he sorts those out. But yeah, Spirit's probably gonna need to rebuild his TC. He's a little bit short of wood now. Yeah, he's committed to making the war galleys. Dock going up on the centre of the map for Spirit. It is always quite nice to get control of that central lake. War galley just being a little bit mischievous there. But yeah, Thire is actually completely open. So these couple of camels, well, they're missing a whole bunch of upgrades, but they could do some decent damage. Needlework is in for Thire, so yeah, upgrades would be needed. But yeah, Spirit, like I said, just clumsy Bronze Age. It's not really done much since he's got his war galley upgrade in. The war galleys themselves are just kind of just chilling here. Well, four of them are here, I guess. The rest are down here. Might be able to take down the dock. Camels do get in. Still no upgrades on these camels though. You should really be trying to find... I mean, it has forced 9 vills idle. But yeah, I should be trying... There we go. Let's do more damage there. And this extra villager may just go down. Spirit, like I said, needs to kind of just get himself... I think it'd just be worth deleting that TC and building a new one, honestly. Because he's just kind of just getting these villagers killed on spawn. But yeah, war galley upgrade obviously making a big difference on the water at the moment. A couple more camels were built. I'm pretty sure Latvia don't get camels themselves. So maybe they're going to be a little bit awkward just to get himself set up into the Bronze Age for Thire. And yeah, just only have really that one dock on the central, on the outer ring there, but does have the one dock in the middle now. So yeah, again, it's been a little bit of a messy game. Neither player really having too solid of a foothold just yet. Spirit with the definite advantage on terms of the military. Thire's had himself up. Well, yeah, just managed to kill quite a lot of the eco. Like I said, I feel like this just needed to be deleted. So I feel like just low... How many eco kills here? Yeah, 8 eco kills just on these units here. And I'm pretty sure a lot of these have just been... Needlework only just coming in now as well. A lot of these have just been villagers popping out and just dying instantly. So Thire getting himself up, set up with another town centre now. He's now starting to pump the chariot archers. He's going to need sort of like a dozen or so of those to really... Oh, well, I was going to say punish the camels, but Spirit stopped making units again. He's only just... Yeah, I feel like Spirit... I don't know, if it just feels like a little bit lost in this match here. And then, like I said, I guess Thire just kind of like messed up his build, which is why he's Thire's sort of restabilizing himself now. You can sort of see with the eco lead now, getting himself set up in the Bronze Age, that he's getting himself back on the plan. But yeah, Spirit just... I don't know. He's just, like I said, not really utilising his resources. And like I said, I feel like he should have just deleted the TC and allowed himself to I think maybe the thing he was thinking was like, I don't have the wood for government centre more TCs, but you can just delete your first TC and then that unlocks building another TC again. And that, like, so finally TC is going down. In fact, he's even got a government centre, so that point's not even relevant. I don't know when that did come up. But yeah, just... again, I don't like to be too critical, but I think this was a pretty poor game from Spirit here, unfortunately. And this is his home map here. And I liked it. He had himself in a good position for a fast bronze. And then just... I don't know exactly what happened. He just got, I don't know, distracted somewhere. Probably took him like maybe a full minute longer than it should have done to get him up there. And Thire losing a few of his units here, but these units are kind of irrelevant at this point. They've already done what they needed to do. Yeah, Spirit is getting himself set up on the water again now, but yeah, the eco advantage has been in favour of Thire for some time now. I mean, 10 camels, and Thire's not really... did he lose a bunch of chariot archers? I'm not exactly sure what happened there. I've been sort of getting a little bit distracted. I'm just going to skip back a little bit. What happened there? Oh, maybe he just didn't produce anymore. Maybe, okay, the fight was just over here. Yeah, not many military units out on the field for Thire again, which I feel like has been a fairly common theme. It's usually Spirit with more military units and less eco. So potentially these camels could get some damage in if they can dive on through. But yeah, potentially, yeah, Thire just getting a bunch of free kills on the top side here. Yeah, Spirit's going to feel the need to come and defend his position on the top side. Obviously, we can see that it would have been much better to run in here, but that's not what Spirit would see. So he's just feeling a little bit threatened. And +5 armor on these Lakviat chariots. But the camels should be able to chew through fairly efficiently once the extras come in. Looks like Thire again is looking elsewhere. And let's have a look-see. So yeah, Thire not really bothering with the water at all. He just made those extra couple of fishing boats and just kind of been sat on those for the time being. War galleys. Yeah, you shouldn't fight with archers. They're just 70-4 against 160-8. The tower is going to take out the war galleys, but there we go. 8 war galleys still left, but they're not really going to be able to do much now. It can maybe get onto the wood line, and camels actually have jumped in. So let's focus on the battle on the land for the time being. Should be able to get some good damage done. Kind of needs to just ignore the hoplite and just run on through. We could get onto the wood line there. I think he didn't quite see the villagers. He's going to try and attack down the academy. I don't know if that was actually intentional. More scout being added into the queue. I mean, I guess it can be fine if he literally just wants to have a look around. And improved bowman, obviously, yeah, composite bowman, one of the few units that Persians get. And maybe now he's seen his opponent going for the hoplite. That's going to be the transition. But yeah, Spirit's just not really got him. I mean, he's had the fishing boats, to be fair, fishing ships now. But yeah, maybe he needs to try and build another dock so that they aren't going as far. So these units are quite fast, so even if they have to go reasonably far, it's not too bad. But yeah, still only 26 vills queuing up, and has just added an extra TC now. Why with the artifacts, man? Why? Sorry. It just triggers me. It just triggers me so much, the artifacts. We're going to go for another dive forward. Sentry towers being deployed by Thire to just try and get control of the map. Needs to be careful of the hoplites here. Do not engage the hoplites with your camels there. Spirit's going to lose all the camels here. And yeah, there's not really much to say about that. Just went into the choke point. And choked out is what he got. Yeah, so we researched improved bow. We've not made a single improved bowman as of yet. Extra archer ranges are going down. Composite bowman being researched now. But yeah, like I said, it feels like Thire has... I mean, yeah, trying to build another tower. And yeah, like I said, it just feels like Spirit's a little bit lost to me. Bronze Age was delayed, but he has been there for some time. Hasn't really been able to do much with it. He got a couple of raids in with the camels. It's kind of thrown a lot of those units away. Well, yeah, you just have to ignore the hoplites with camels and just try and run past them, really. I mean, he's doing the right thing by transitioning into composite bowman, but that doesn't mean you just... It doesn't mean you throw all the camels away. I mean, Spirit has finally now started getting his villager count up, but yeah, Thire's just had the eco lead for a very long time now. Architecture coming in for those, going to help out for those towers being annoying. Yeah, Hoplight's going to make short work of the watchtower here. And yeah, there's not really any real... I mean, the composite numbers are going to build up slowly, but it's just going to be too little, too late, I feel. And we're going to see the push forward from Thire. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see... I mean, yeah, Iron Age coming in as well for Thire. Again, a lot of wood. It is what it is. Yeah, I don't think there's much to be done left in this game. Yeah, he's already got an ability on the Chariot Archers as well. Just full pump on the units. And this is going to be 3-0. And yeah, I feel like Spirit had chances, like in the second game there. Like I said, if he just followed up that tower push on Conti, he could have punished the Bronze Age click from Thire. And this map here, he could have got himself up to the Bronze Age so much quicker. He just fumbled it a little bit, threw away those camels. Just far too far behind on the military count now. And I kind of feel like I'm just padding it out. Iron Age is clicked. Comes in. Lakviat don't get Phalangite, which is a little bit unfortunate, so we won't be able to upgrade all these hoplites. But yeah, Horse Archer just being swapped into. And then just need to see Alchemy and Ballistics. And yeah, Spirit. I think not much left to do in this game, really. Has the 12 compies. It's not actually gathering gold. I guess the gold ran out from this spot here. There's more gold here though. But yeah, Thire just needs to just push on through. Push it home. Still like to see the government centre upgrades for those ranged units. Going for Scythe Chariot. I feel like this isn't really necessary. Ballistics. Yeah, I feel like this is a waste of resources for me. It's a very expensive upgrade and we're so far ahead we don't need that really. Yeah, I mean it has a decent amount of compies and I don't think the horse archers are still at home. But yeah, I think I don't know, it's probably going to be a fairly even fight actually. Because yeah, the Alchemy's still not in yet. Yeah, I feel like there's a bit of a misprioritization of the upgrades from Thire here. Because yeah, Alchemy's still not clicked. But yeah, company numbers are being thinned out now, reinforcements do come in. I feel like I'm just, waiting for the GG. There it is. And yeah, again, I don't like to be harsh, but I feel like Spirit just never really gave himself a chance in this game. Yeah. Because yeah, he's here, he's got the food. He has the wood. All he needs to do is stable and a market right now. Stable goes down. So that's part one. But where's the market? But yeah, like, I don't know. Like I said, Thire got a little bit tied up in the early game here. It wasn't the cleanest of early games for him, which he admitted himself. But yeah, like it's been like market starts going up now finally. And it wasn't making villagers this entire time either. Yeah, again, I don't like to be harsh, but yeah, Bronze Age. But that's quite basic stuff, is my point. I don't really know why we've mass migrated so many vills as well at this point. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what to... Yeah, like I say, a little bit slow getting to, yeah, just slow getting to the goal again. And yeah, and the very slow push from where Thire eventually came in and managed to get some damage. Yeah, and then it was the town centre as well. Should have just deleted the T. Yeah, I feel like there was about, I don't even know how many villagers came out and just died. But yeah, Spirit should have just deleted this TC and built a new TC. Yeah, I'm not going to say too much more because I don't feel like I have too many positive things to say about this game. But yeah, 3-0 to Thire, so congratulations to him. And so he wins the little third place match there. And like I said, Spirit had opportunities there, so it wasn't completely one-sided. I just feel like he just got a little bit lost in the sauce, as they say, and just kind of just didn't give himself the chance.